In this video, I'll be going over how to effectively give a good opening or main speech in a JSA debate. Now, just like an essay, there are three parts to a good main speech: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. The start of the introduction is the hook. The hook is actually one of the most important parts of the speech, so it will be covered in a separate video. To learn more about the hook, check out the video How to Give a Good Hook. Now, after you give your hook, you're going to want to state your name and school so that everyone in the audience knows who you are and where you're from. After that, you're going to want to move on to your body. Now, the body consists of your main arguments. Generally, in a 6-minute speech, I recommend having between 2 and 4 arguments. Now, you can do more if it's a longer speech, and you can do fewer if it's a shorter speech. But for the standard JSA speech, that's generally a good idea, generally 3. Each argument consists of 3 parts as well: assertion, reasoning, and evidence. Very often in JSA debates, people will go and throw out baseless assertions. An example of this would be the death penalty is bad, but they don't say why the death penalty is bad. So in order to back that up and make it a valid argument, you need to make sure you say why. So assertion, the death penalty is bad. Give some reasoning. The death penalty is bad because it's more expensive than life in prison. Okay, so now you've given yourself some reasoning and some basis for this, but it's still not complete without evidence to back it up. So the death penalty is bad because it costs more than life in prison. But where's your evidence that it costs more? Well, according to, and then you can find really any source you want that supports this. You can say a statistic such as, it's 3 times more expensive to put someone to death than to put them in prison for life. And this would be a good example of a full and complete argument. Now, once you've given your first argument, you're going to want to simply transition my next argument or second, or find some creative way to go to your next point and give your second and, if applicable, third and fourth arguments. Once you finish the body of your argument, you're going to want to go to your conclusion. Make sure to leave enough time for a conclusion so you don't just end on the end of an argument. So if you do have about, say, 30 seconds is generally good for a conclusion. Once you start your conclusion, you're going to want to summarize your main arguments. But after you summarize, it's important to give some kind of sentence at the end that just wraps everything up and ends with a bang. So, for example, the death penalty is bad because it costs more, it's inhumane, and it's overall unjust and violates the 8th Amendment to the Constitution. Therefore, it's imperative that you vote in favor of this resolution and we save these people from being killed. Thank you. And that's a good way to just kind of conclude your speech with a little more emphasis and a little more enthusiasm towards the end there.